Hello everyone, this is Dan Backler with Medtronic. I'm your Covidian surgical stapling and energy representative. And today we're going to talk about your new Valleylab FT10 electrosurgical generators. These generators are very similar to the Force Triad and Force FX generators that you are used to. It's also very easy to use. And we are going to go through all of the functionality of the device in this video. But first I want to tell you a little bit about the technology that's built into this generator. Similar to the Force Triad and Force FX, this generator has tissue sensing technology, meaning that the generator's computer processing unit takes information that it collects from the tip of the instrument and makes hundreds of thousands of decisions every second to determine the proper energy output based off of that information that it's getting from the tip of the instrument. What that allows the device to do is become far more efficient across all different types of tissue that it will come across. Whether that's lymphatics, vessels, or fat, this device will make over 100 times more decisions per second than the Force Triad when it's deciding how much energy to dole out. Now that we've talked a little bit about the technology, I'll go through all the functionality of the device with you. On the Valleylab FT10 generator, you can see there are some hard buttons at the bottom here, as well as a large screen with 4 quadrants. This screen is a touch screen, and each of these 4 quadrants is going to line up with the port that is adjacent to it. Monopolar 1 goes with monopolar 1, bipolar with bipolar, monopolar 2, and ligature with ligature. Before we get into the quadrants and each individual port, I'm going to talk about these 4 buttons. This button right here is the power button. As you can see right now, it is illuminated green because our generator is on. When the generator is off and the device is plugged in properly, this button will be illuminated orange. To turn the unit on, you'll press this button once. You'll see a loading screen, and because the processing unit inside of this generator is quite large and complicated, it does take over a minute to boot up. So my suggestion is to make sure that this generator is turned on either before the patient comes into the room or just after, to make sure that you're not waiting for the generator to boot up while the patient is under anesthesia. To turn the device off, you'll hold this button for just a couple of seconds. You'll see the screen as it's powering down. Just like any electronic device, make sure that the unit is fully powered down before unplugging it from the wall. This button right here is a revert settings button. Essentially what this will do is revert the settings, meaning your power settings, your cut and coag settings, all of the settings on the screen that you see. It will revert back to what the settings were when the generator was last turned off. So we'll press this button here. We'll see a little window asking us if we want to restore settings. We can hit OK, and you can see these were the settings that were last used when this generator was turned off. This button here is a volume button. You can press that and it'll bring up a volume indicator right here where you can turn the volume up and down. Please note that this volume will only control the button volume and the activation volume. Any alert or alarm tones will always be at full volume as a safety precaution. This button here brings you to the settings and service menu. There's no reason for any of you to ever be in this menu. This is really for biomed only. If you do accidentally press that button, you can go back to your main screen by hitting exit here at the bottom on the touchscreen, or you can press the button again and you'll come right back to your main screen. This red item here is not a button. It is actually a return electrode monitor indicator. As you can see, it is red, meaning that we do not have a patient electrode pad plugged in. Over here is where you're going to be plugging your pads in. All of your pads will work with this generator. Your pads are not changing. Like the Force Triad and the Force FX, this generator has return electrode quality monitoring built into it, meaning that even if we had a pad plugged in here, this would remain red and block energy unless your patient pad had quality contact with your patient, meaning it is flush on their skin and there is no, corners that are up. You guys are very used to this technology. It has not changed with this generator. In addition to this indicator that when you do have contact quality will turn green, you have a little red and yellow icon in the middle of the screen telling you that there's either no pad plugged in or your pad that is plugged in does not have contact quality monitoring, meaning that the device will block energy. So we're going to talk a little bit about the ports. We've got our new smoke evacuation pencil here that we're going to plug into monopolar 1. As you can see, when I plug the pencil in, it illuminates yellow and blue, indicating that you do have a device plugged in. Once it's plugged in, you can automatically just adjust the settings with these arrows right here. You can also adjust the mode for both cut and for coag. So if we were to go over to monopolar 2, you can see this side is now illuminated with the colors. And you can adjust like that. If you notice in monopolar 1, there is a blue circle indicating that if you are going to use a foot switch adapter, that, short a monopolar adapter for all of your foot switch enabled devices and instruments, you have to use monopolar 1. You will not be able to plug the foot switch adapter into monopolar 2. It has to be used in monopolar 1. Monopolar 2 can take really any other monopolar device besides the foot switch adapters, and also it is where you're going to plug your Valleylab mode enabled devices. So this is the Force Triverse, the Ligature Hook, and the Ligature Advance. The Ligature Hook and the Ligature Advance both have a ligature dongle as well as a monopolar dongle. That monopolar dongle has to go in monopolar 2. If you have the ligature in here and you try and bring the monopolar for the Ligature Hook and the Ligature Advance over to here, it will not work. It has to be in monopolar 2. And once you plug it into monopolar 2, a Valleylab mode indicator will pop up on this screen, and you will be able to set the Valleylab mode functionality and the settings for that device. So Ligature Hook, Ligature Advance, and Force Triverse have to be plugged into monopolar 2. Down here we have our bipolar port, where you can adjust the settings. You can go into here and you can have a couple other bipolar modes. Mostly everybody's going to be working in standard. These are some advanced bipolar settings that if any surgeon is interested in any of these, you can have them contact me. But if they do know about them, they'll probably want to go in, but it's very easy to use. This is where you're going to plug your ligature in. Now, if you notice, there are no longer 3 green bars on the Force Triad for the ligature, like there was on the first Triad. If you plug a ligature in, this is a circle that will illuminate purple. There is no more setting green bars for your ligature. This generator has enough technology and is smart enough to determine the precise settings for every ligature device that is plugged into here. So the ligature is now truly plug and play. This generator will take any Covidien manufactured ligature device, whether it's open laparoscopic, any ligature device that is manufactured by Covidien and not reprocessed will work with this device.
In addition to ligature, this bottom right port will also receive any bipolar resection devices. On the Force Triad, the bipolar resection software had to be installed. Now with the FT10, every single generator has this bipolar resection software pre-installed. So all of your FT10 generators will now work with bipolar resection from both Storz and Wolf.
If you notice up here, we've got some newer settings. This is an option where you can really customize and load in setting profiles for not just surgeons, but also for groups, say orthopedics or general. So to do that, you can press group here, and right now we've got one loaded up for ortho, and you can hit favorites for each group. So we can add a favorite right here. We can enter the settings for the favorite. So let's say this orthopedic surgeon wants 40 for monopolar 1. Whatever that is for that, you can hit go, and then we can enter the new favorite name. So Dr. X. Hit OK, and now right there you can see exactly what the settings are for each favorite, and that is going to be loaded in the ortho group. So if we're select a group 2, let's say this one was labeled general surgery, you go to your favorites, there's nothing here. So you can group them however you want, and you can input really as much information as you'd like to customize each one of these individual surgeon profiles for settings. So here's the back of the device. The back is going to look very similar to the back of the Force Triad. You've got a couple foot switch ports here, monopolar 1, monopolar 2, they are labeled. If you do have a foot switch with a different input, these are 4 and 6 pin adapters. There will be a 4 to 6 pin pigtail adapter in the drawer for all the new carts. This is for the bipolar foot switch. This is for the ligature foot switch. I'm not sure if anybody uses those anymore, but we did include the ligature foot switch capability. Right here is for smoke evacuation communication with our rapid vacs. There should be a cord that comes with the rapid vac that is plugged into the back of it that you can plug into either monopolar 1 or monopolar 2. And what that switch will allow you to do is when energy is being doled out, it will automatically trigger the rapid vac to evacuate smoke. So that means the filter is not running the entire case, it's only running while you're activating the energy. These are just a couple other ports for Biomed. Here's your power port. It's a standard, medical grade power supply, 3-pronged, just like that one that I'm sure you all are very used to. So that's pretty much it for the Valleylab FT10 electrical surgical unit. If you have any questions, you all know how to contact me. Please let me know if there's anything else I can help out with this generator, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you.